Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So this past spring, I did some spring cleaning of some of my life ways, and I came to discover some of the most important things in life were not the bismuth art that I was making. I got kind of addicted to it earlier this year. Um, they weren't really the computer games that I was writing and the conferences I was going to. I would argue the most important thing in the world is to be able to have space to eat without interruption mindfully. And so that's become a huge luxury in our lives. So I can't tell you how many places I worked where we were expected to continue working during the lunch hour. The phone would ring off the hook, people would interrupt you. There really wasn't time to leave the office during the lunch hour. And so lately when I'm eating lunch and my colleagues want to talk to me, I completely tune them out. In my mind, I'll just pretend there's a remote control and I can just press the mute button. That's what I think in my mind. That every time a colleague wants to talk to me or one of my clients want to talk to me during the lunch hour, I just pick up that remote and I press the mute button, and they can keep jabbering away, but I'm not hearing them anymore. Some of these people don't get the message, though. Some people jabber louder and louder. Most people just walk away, but some people jabber louder and louder. But I remind myself they're making themselves look really bad by doing that, and maybe they're going to get fired next. I try to remind myself that when I'm tempted to respond to the jabbering, because it never looks good when two people are loud like that. I'm upset that they're interrupting my lunch. They're upset that I'm ignoring them. That never looks good. So I try to remember that it looks bad on them. Maybe they have a hell to go to where noises are all over the place. I had a boss who didn't believe in taking time for food. I now thinking back on it, I'm not very happy. I'll keep this short because I'm upset every time I talk about it. One of my colleagues had gone away on vacation, and I was routinely getting these 8 or 9 hour sessions with no break in there. And one time I had just fasted, I think 14 hours. I was planning to go to work 4 hours and then break the fast. And when I get into the office, my boss shows me the schedule with 9 hours, and I said, "Well, what happened?" And he said that my colleague had some kind of family emergency. Can't really remember what it was. He might not even have told me. I said, this is a problem because I fasted 14 hours, totally expecting to get off work at this time. And he says, well, this student comes in a little bit late anyway. You'll have 10 minutes here. Yeah, right. I didn't even bring a lunch because I didn't expect any of this. And he expects me in 10 minutes to walk down the street, pick up lunch. And he doesn't even have a kitchenette in the office. And so long story short, I was late getting back to the students. I was a mess. My face was a mess from eating. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just told them, this is not possible because I didn't plan for it. I shouldn't have gone into the elaborate explanations about intermittent fasting and all that. I think it was a little bit. Now looking back, I may have elaborated a little bit too much. Just said, hey, I didn't hear about this until like just now, and I can't do these 9 hours today. That probably would have gone a little bit better. Maybe I can do 6 hours, but not 9, right? Something like that. I got a little bit too elaborate. But when he goes to hell, he's in his early 70s, so that might only be 10, 20 years away. When he finally goes to hell, I hope he goes into the binge room in hell, where people are force fed, in pain indefinitely from being force fed, and he reflects on it. I really do. I think there really is a binge room in hell. I really do. I want to make some art about the binge room up in hell. I think it does exist. And then when these people are jabbering away, next week we have I really hate it because next week we have a Taylor Swift concert here, and people drive recklessly every time we have one of those events. I'm fortunate enough to get my vacation this time. I get to leave the city, but these people who crowd Phoenix to go see Taylor Swift. I hope when they and Taylor Swift finally end up in hell, she sings to them until their eardrums bust. I really do. It brings me great joy to think about that. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.